This is the K310 training course. The course is subdivided into two parts. Part 1, K3 kernel. Lesson 1. First, K3 user interface, structure and features. Second, main functions and menus. Third, the functions of simple primitives creation. And fourth, practice. Okay, let's begin with first point, that is K3 user interface, structure and features. You can see at the above of it the so-called pop-up menu where you can find all the functions of the system K3. However, it's not convenient to work with it, so the developers have subdivided all the functions into several parts. The first part is the so-called iconified panel where you can find input, output and service functions. There are no modeling and editing functions here. The working area. It is subdivided into 4 viewing frames. All the frames are 4 different points of view to model in scene. Each frame can be in 2 states, active and passive. To toggle between these states, you can simply click on the desirable frame. It may be done anytime as you wish. The configuration of the frame can be vary in different manner. For example, I simply press left mouse button and move mouse through the window. Okay. Left-hand iconified panel. There are simple objects and primitive modeling functions here. The upper portion of functions is aimed to linear objects creation like lines, arcs, circles, splines, and so on. The second part allows the creation 3D solid objects such as parallelepiped, cylinder, cone, sphere, and so on. The lower portion is rather vestigial because it contains the functions for 2D modeling only. There is a very important button at the top of this panel that is snapping on off. It allows toggling between outer snapping default mode. Right hand panel. It contains all the functions of K310 system. They are subdivided into 4 groups, 3 of which are the specific functional group for tense modeling only. Form finding, patterning, information. The last one consists of the basic K3 function. The lower part of the user interface is the command line. The system creates here the messages for the user. The user has to define here some necessary modeling data. It means this part is the place of the interactive communication between the user and the system. The main functions and menus. K310 functions are a specific add-on to the basic K3 kernel. First of all, let's consider the basic K3 functions. They are subdivided into several groups, each of which contains a set of functions. First group, create. This group comprises the functions of the creation of objects of different types. 3 subgroups of functions here, say lines, primitives and graphics, holds the same functions like in the left-hand panel. You can select them either here or there. Other groups, such as kinematics, surfaces, Boolean operations, Boolean polylines, and lysoses contain specific functions aimed at the object form finding by extrusion, rotation, and other operations. We will consider them later. Let's create now a simple linear object. To make it, we open create subgroup. Okay. Each creation function requires executing some steps, displaying the requests in the command line. The majority of functions require very similar steps. To create a point, linear objects, we should define its Cartesian coordinates in the command line upon the system request. Note please that in K3 the measurement system uses millimeters. So, we should type the coordinates in the following order: x, y, z, subdividing them by blank or comma. For example, 100 blank, 250. Okay. To create a line, we should do the same twice for the beginning and ending points. Line. We should define an arbitrary points. One point, press enter button, and second point, okay. Besides, an additional menu at the bottom of the right-hand panel usually accompanies all the functions. The same menu can be displayed by the click of right mouse button, like this. Okay. We can also define the points and lines. Simply click left mouse button at the active view frame, like this. We can control while the position of the mouse pointer at the information panel at the bottom of the screen. We can similarly model arc lines, circles, and splines. To model arc, we should define the coordinates of 3 consecutive points. By default, these 3 points are the following: starting point, ending point, and point inside of an arc. If it is necessary, we can define the center of the arc and 2 points on it. The center point, starting point, ending point. The center point and its radius can define a circle object. For example, center point and radius. Note please, the active viewing frame defines the plane of the arc and circle modeling. The spline object. We can create a spline object by 2 methods: by point on spline and by control points. The first method allows obtaining a curvilinear line passing through known points exactly. For example, the second method allows modeling the mean line not passing through the points. Other specific lines in this group we'll consider later when it will be convenient. The primitives group. The 2 primitives, like rectangle and parallelepiped, can be defined very similar. Two diagonal points define the rectangle. One more point defines the parallelepiped. Okay. The polygon function allows creation an equilateral convex polygon. To make it, we should define the polygon center point. Then we have to define the number of polygon edges using the context menu at the bottom of the right-hand panel. And after that, we should define the coordinates of a polygon vertex. By the default, the number of edges is equal to 6. The cylinder function. To model the cylinder, the user had to define coordinates of its two base centers, one center and two center. The third parameter is the cylinder radius. The cone object can be created similar to the cylinder object. The only difference is the necessity to define two base radii. One base point and second, one radius and second radius. The sphere object can be created like a circle object. That is, we should define the center point and the sphere radius. The torus object requires the definition of 4 parameters, namely the torus center, the guideline radius, and the generatrix radius. To define the prism object, the user has to define two base centers, 1, 2, the radius of a circumscribed circle like for the cylinder. In addition, the user has to define the number of edges like for the polygon object. The default number is 6. The pyramid creation requires the same parameters like the cone object. And in addition, the number of edges should be defined like for the prism object. The ellipsoid object can be created by its center definition and by the definition of its 3 mutually orthogonal axes. One axis, second and third axis. Okay. To create the spherical zone object, we should define the center of the whole sphere. Then the point at axis Z, and two ratios that can be varied between -1 and 1. These two values can be calculated as ratios of the distances from sphere center to the base points to the radius. In conclusion, let us observe some useful functions in the upper iconified panel. The wrapping and unwrapping the active viewing frame to the whole screen. To do it, we should simply press this button and press it once again to return it for the initial position. Note, the majority of functions here can be activated by left and right mouse button clicking. The left mouse button works in the active frame only, and right mouse button works in all frames. For example, feed image to viewing port. left mouse button clicking, right mouse button clicking. Change current color. All the object will be created with this color. Rotate the scene in the current viewing frame. And function of halftone options.